Michigan, home of our second week of our series On Location. This week, we're in St. Joe, Michigan, at Lake Michigan. This week, we want to talk about what water has to do with the miracles of Jesus. Lake Michigan is a cool lake. Lake Michigan is home to thousands of swimmers, thousands of boaters, thousands of beachgoers who lay out in the sun. It's also important for business. It's huge for business. Lake Michigan is cool, but today you notice that it's kind of calm, little waves. It's sunny out, but when it starts to rain, when it starts to get windy and the storms come, Lake Michigan is a bear. A couple years ago, myself, my two brothers, my uncle, my grandfather, and my dad went fishing on a boat in Lake Michigan. On a day it started out much like today, but in the middle of that boating trip, it got nasty. Rain started, the wind picked up, and as quick as we were out, the waves started to bash our boat. It got hairy, we were scared. If my mom was there, it would have scared the poop out of her pants. It was that bad. But one person in that boat was not nervous. That was the fisherman, the driver of the boat. He was calm, he was collected. He said, "Don't worry guys, we'll get you back to the shore safely." You know, this week we want to talk about another body of water. A body of water that's called the Sea of Galilee. And the Sea of Galilee is the site of one of Jesus' miracles. You see, after he had just finished speaking for 5,000, he told his disciples to get in a boat, to go to the other side of the sea, and that he'll meet them there. Simple instructions, right? It didn't happen that way. You see, in the middle of that boat ride, in the middle of the night, the winds picked up, the rain came, the waves started hammering their boat, and in the middle of that storm, there was a man who was calm, a man who was collected. His name is Jesus, and he met him there in the middle of the night, on the water, as he walked to him. So tonight, we want to talk about that miracle, the miracle of Jesus walking on water. He also called Peter out to walk on water. We want to talk about something like that, what it means to walk on water, what that looks like in our life. So you guys ready? You guys ready for the adventure? I am. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Peace be still. I love peace. I love how it makes me. I love not to worry about the stresses of life or just what's going to happen later. Welcome to the beach. This is my peaceful place. This is where I get alone and I enjoy myself. This is where I get refreshed. I love it. Let's talk about a man tonight. A man that needed to get alone. Jesus. Jesus just fed the 5,000. He sent his disciples off on the Sea of Galilee like Todd talked about. Jesus was alone and praying. He was getting recuperated. Where he was praying was probably overlooking the water, much like this. And Jesus was praying, and all of a sudden, the storm came over the water. And he looks out to see the disciples, who he sent out to go get rest. And Jesus decided to go out to them. As Jesus was walking on water, the disciples spotted him. Could you imagine that? First of all, Jesus walking on water. I've never seen that. Sure, we can walk on ice, but Jesus literally walked on water. And as he was walking out to them, the disciples spotted him. They recognized him. Can you imagine that? There's a huge storm, a big wave, and when the wave disappears, there's a man standing there. I'd poop my pants too. But they recognized him. It was Jesus. That's their rescuer. Of course, Peter, being Peter, had to be nosy. Peter's always jumping out and saying stupid stuff and acting a fool. So Peter says, "Jesus, if that's you, call me out." Jesus said, "Okay, Peter, come out to me." So Peter, without hesitation, risked his life and jumped out of the boat and starts walking on water with Jesus. Can you imagine that? Not only one guy walking on water, but two. But Peter, he started understanding his risk. He realized that he wasn't Superman. So he started drowning. He said, "Jesus, save me." And Jesus pulled him out of the water and they walk on the boat together. Here's the awesome part. As they get on the boat, the wind, the waves, everything disappeared. There was peace. So tonight we're going to talk about the miracles that just happened. What's the miracle? Jesus walking on water? Peter walking on water? Or is it the fact that the winds and the waves obeyed Jesus? That was an important part. The
disciples learned to trust God that night. So hopefully tonight, you're going to learn to trust. If you walk away with anything tonight, I want it to be this one thing: risk. What are you willing to risk? Are you willing to risk your life for a cause? Are you willing to risk who you are to get to know God more? Are you willing to risk your family or your friends' approval of you to love God? Are you willing to risk it by taking Him into the schools? What about just walking out of your house? Are you willing to risk that just to get up? Well, tonight we're going to talk about risk. Tonight we're also going to do one more thing. We're going to learn to walk on water. So come with us tonight.